One day, James had to wait at the station for Edward and his train to come. This made him cross. "Late again!" Edward just laughed, and James fumed away. After James had finished all his work, he went back to Tim's sheds and puffed onto the turntable. He was still feeling very bad-tempered. "Edward is impossible," snapped James. "He clanks about like a lot of old iron, and he's so slow that he makes us wait." Thomas and Percy were shocked by what James had said. "Old iron? Slow? Why, Edward could beat you in a race any day." "Really?" said James. "I should like to see him do it." Then he puffed angrily to sleep. The next day, James's driver had suddenly taken ill. "What now?"
Oh, God, I can barely stand."
So James's firemen uncoupled James, ready for shunting. Why is it always shunting I have to do?" A while later, the signalman looked outside. There was James puffing innocently along the line.
"All traffic halted,"
he announced. Then he explained to his firemen what had happened.
"Two boys were on James's footplate, and they were fiddling with the controls."
"Oh my goodness! Where's my handkerchief? Oh, there we go."
"They tumbled off after James started."
Then the signalman answered the telephone.
"Hello? Yes, he's here. Right. I'll tell him. The inspector is coming at once. He wants a shunter's pole and a coil of wire rope."
"What for?" wondered the fireman.
"Beats me, but you better get them quickly."
The fireman was ready when Edward arrived. The inspector saw the pole and the rope.
"Good man, jump in."
We'll catch him! We'll catch him! Puffed Edward. Meanwhile, James was laughing. What a lark! What a lark! He chuckled to himself. Suddenly, James found himself going faster and faster. He realized that he had no driver. "Oh no! What shall I do? I can't stop! Help! Help!" "We're coming! We're coming!" puffed Edward. Edward was puffing with every ounce of steam he had, but at last he caught up with James. "Ah! Help me, Edward! I'm trying, James!"
"Steady, Edward,"
called his driver. The inspector stood on Edward's footplate, holding a noose of rope in the crook of the shunter's pole. He was trying to slip it over James's buffer. Edward swayed and lurched. But at last,
got him!"
he shouted, and he pulled the noose tight. Gently braking, Edward's driver checked the engine speed, and James's firemen scrambled across and took control. "So, the old iron caught you after all," chuckled Edward. "I'm sorry," whispered James. "Thank you for saving me. You were splendid, Edward." "That's all right," replied Edward. The two engines arrived at the next station side by side. Sir Topham Hatt was waiting. "A fine piece of work," he exclaimed. "James, you can rest, and then you'll take your next train. I'm proud of you, Edward. You shall go to the works and have your warm parts mended as a reward." "Oh, thank you, sir," said Edward. "It'll be lovely not to clank."